Welcome back to another episode of the Joy Journey of You podcast. It's just me this week, just Devin here, but it's a super packed one. As you know, how we roll, how we are here in the Joy podcast is we're here to share the joy and the energy of life with you. And today, we are going to be talking about our inner wilds. Our inner wilds. We all have inner wilds. Welcome back to another episode of Joy, the Journey of You podcast. We're your hosts, Devin and Chris, and we're here for joy.
This podcast is your permission slip to reconnect to your inherent joy and to embrace it.
Let's fill up the cosmic joy pot together as we dive in to today's episode. Wilds. We're all born out of the wild. And I want you to notice when I even just say those words, what comes up for you. Are you comfortable with the idea that you have inner wilds? Are you niggled by the idea that you have inner wilds? Are you enlivened or aroused by the idea that you have inner wilds? Or are you turned off by it? Basically, are you turned on or are you turned off by it? Because that just shows you your immediate, your default reaction and your default relationship with your inner wilds. But my friends, the truth is that you have inner wilds within you that when expressed are your true nature, are your nature, your wild side, your nature. Nature's wild. If you go into the heart of Africa and you are there with wild dogs and any animal, lions, zebra, all of it, there's a very distinct way that these animals act and these animals interact with the world. And it's just their nature. It's just natural for them. And when we are connected to our inner nature and our inner wilds, we are much more in the natural flow of life. So what's going to happen is people, opportunities, jobs, partners, everything's going to come to us is because we are in our own unique frequency, our own inner wilds. So the outer wilds are going to meet us with that same vibe, with that same vibration. You've heard us talk extensively about how vibration works and how when we are of a vibration, we allow those vibrations to come to meet us. So this idea of us having inner wilds is the same premise. However, when we look at things through the eyes of our inner wilds, there's probably things that if you were in your inner wilds that you would be doing, acting upon, prioritizing. Alternatively, if you're void of your inner wilds and you're more of like a domesticated animal and a domesticated human who's in logic and in the constructs of what we should be doing or what you should be doing, what it tends to do and going to do is going to rob you of your joy, going to rob you of opportunities, going to have you blind to people, places, opportunities, jobs, anything that could be of service to you and that could be of use to you in your journey. You will be void of it. You'll miss it. You'll miss the point. It just won't be there because you're not living in your inner wilds. So prime example for me in my life is that before 3.5 years ago, before I started really working with my inner wilds and my intuition, I was full-time in my physical therapy clinic and was very successful, had a 6-month wait list and was well known in my local area to be the witch doctor, to be known as like the woman that you go to. And the challenge I had then was being able to see enough people. Like there's only one of me. I can only see so many people at one point in time. So it was starting to get exhausting. I love what I do. I love my hands-on therapy. I love changing people's lives and having them completely come back to hope. And I love all that. However, I was depleted. And what I was learning was that there was an inner wild part of me that wanted to travel so deeply, so deeply. I've wanted to travel my whole life. And within 3 months of me starting to work with structural tension and alchemy, the way that we have shared with you extensively on our Joy podcast, is I realized I wanted to go travel. My inner wilds were like, I need to be wild. I need to be free. My logical, domesticated self in my mind's eye was very much seeing that that's impossible. That's not sustainable. I'm not an Instagram influencer. How am I going to go make a living doing that? And so, but my heart was my inner wilds. And I took the guidance from my intuition and my inner wisdom, my inner wilds, and acted upon it. And giving it a go for the first time. And my life is completely different 3.5 years later. And I have traveled. If you followed me at all on Instagram, not that I'm an influencer, um, you'll notice that I'm traveling and I've gone to Greece and I've gone to Croatia and I've gone to Italy and I've gone to Africa 3 times and I've gone to so many places while still having my physical business here in Eugene, Oregon, where I can see people in person, while growing my healing and coaching practice online and getting new clients that way. So my life is different, and but my inner wilds are being fed. When my inner wilds are being fed, I see myself as being capable of having this very multifaceted, joyous life that feeds me, feeds other people, and I get to enjoy myself. So I'm in my joy. And then what I tend to do is I tend to express myself more out of my joy. I tend to have more open-hearted conversations and conversations about the inner wilds of a person. And so I'm acting so much more out of my nature and out of my inner wilds. My behaviors are out of my inner wilds. Whereas before, living from that space of here's what I need to be doing and the logic, and it's the very boxed world, right? I'm not in my wilds. And so, although I'm doing something that on the surface seems good for me, good for others, and it is, and it does, it wasn't gratifying. It wasn't feeding that inner nature of me. And so what ends up happening is I would go through these time frames of very much fatigue and lulls of energy and having to like push through. And so I guess what I really want to demonstrate with this story really is how our energy flows super duper easily when we are in our inner wilds, when we're in that innate nature of ourselves. Our energy is flowing easily, our ideas are flowing, our actions are going to flow, everything's going to flow. When we're not, we're going to have to force, we're going to have to cajole, we're going to have this stop and go oscillatory energy. And so, this, my friends, this is your invitation into your inner wilds. They're already there. They're already there. So, let's start with we're going to dive a little deeper into getting to know your inner wilds. So, um, be mindful of where you're at. If you're driving, take notice of that and park this episode to come back to in 10 minutes when you get home. But so I started off this episode with asking you what came up for you when you heard the words inner wild. So register that for yourself. What comes up for you when you just imagine the idea of living out of inner wilds? And now I want you to imagine a golden circle in front of you. How we use intuition, how we've taught you every single episode here is I invite you to imagine a golden circle in front of you. And inside of that golden circle is you in your inner wilds. And imagine yourself innocently with so much curiosity of who am I? What am I like when I'm in my inner wilds? I invite you to step inside of that circle and see who are you in your inner wilds? How do you see yourself? How do you express yourself? Where does your focus go? What actions are you taking? What behaviors are you involved in? Who are you in your inner wilds? And what's your relationship with living from that space? It's one thing, it's cool and all to come in and get to know your inner wilds and flirt with the idea of who am I? What would I do? How do I act? Express yourself. But now, my next question to take you deeper is what's your relationship or what comes up for you with the idea of living from that space? This inner wild person that you see, why yet are they to be yet to be out in the wilds? So what comes up for you about this living in your inner wilds? My guidance here actually is for you to stay with this for the rest of your day and ponder it, contemplate it. Who am I in my inner wilds? And then decide how much you want to lean into that for yourself. truth be told, it's very rare. It's kind of impossible for someone to go from not living in their inner wilds to seeing their inner wilds and then just going full bore into it and just letting the freak flag fly and just go for it, right? It's very rare. It genuinely tends to be more of a leaning in and a like just playing with the idea. So I really truly invite you to be very humble in this journey with yourself as you explore who you are in your inner wilds, how you express yourself, how you act, and then how you relate to the idea of genuinely living in your inner wilds and just ponder it, contemplate with it. The reason I bring this up is I've been doing that. So I just got back from Africa on Soul Safari and Mozambique adventure. Um, about 2 weeks ago. And when I'm out in Africa, I am very connected to my inner wilds. And when I'm out in nature, I'm very connected to my inner wilds. And when I'm here in the city and in more of the tactile, contextual world of our modern day, I just find that my connection to my inner wilds is just different. And I'm having to be much more intentional about it. And I want to be talking about this more with people as a whole, but especially women. There's there's such profound power in our inner wilds because it's our nature. And the more that we can live out of it, the more that we're going to get out of our own way and allow the wilds of life to serve us and for us to live a wildly delightful life. So that's the invitation. It's yours. It's yours to decide. It's yours to lean into. But um, let this moment be the moment that you're re-invited back into your inner wilds. And may you allow that to set you free and for you to wildly explore that for yourself. And if at any point in time you want to dive deeper, reach out, touch base with me directly, and we can totally explore your inner wilds and get you living out of your inner wilds. But you have your inner wilds with you here right now, right inside of you. And so if you were to access those inner wilds and be pondering and contemplating, what are my inner wilds like? What would it like to be walking through the grocery store with my inner wilds activated? What would it be like to have a conversation with a potential partner if I was in my inner wilds? And for you to give yourself that and see what changes. So let us know how that goes, whether it be just me directly, Devin, or on our Journey of You podcast at gmail.com. We're here for you. The only reason why we take the time to record these episodes and to tune in to what would serve our listeners is that there's something here to wake up inside of you. And may today be the day that you waken up to your inner wilds and live from there. That's the invitation. Here's to you living out of the joy of your inner wilds. And until next episode, lots of love. Bye.